So Shyne, the rapper formerly known as Shyne, who is now a great political leader in Belize, he was in front of the Belize press. It was funny because at the end of the press conference, the one guy's, tell us, what did you know about the freak-offs? And Shyne laughed. It's like, yes, but what about the freak-offs? That was funny. But before that, Shyne was talking to the press about the Diddy arrest. And he said, Diddy destroyed my life. And I don't remember Shyne ever saying anything that strong against Combs like that. Like, there was an article that he did with Vibe magazine years ago. I think he did it right after he came out of prison. And I don't know if he said that. I'm thinking no, but I have to find that article. But even when I seen him recently on the Breakfast Club or Drink Champs, I never heard him say these words. But he's absolutely right. Sean Combs destroyed his life. That club shooting happened. That young lady got shot. And Sean and Combs both got arrested with Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer was let go immediately. They go to trial. Shyne and Sean go to trial. Sean got all these high-priced lawyers. Shyne didn't have anybody. And Shyne said in his press conference, he was saying, like, I defended that man. And then, but he had witnesses that was testifying against me. So Shyne took the rap for that. Even the woman who got shot, she allegedly said that she feels like that Combs allegedly is the one who shot her. But Shyne took the fall for that. And then he goes to jail for 9.5 years to get deported. And the U.S. is like, yeah, we'll fix you. We'll send you back to Belize. The U.S. had no idea that they was about to create one of the best world-renowned political leaders out of Belize. I can never, before Shyne, I couldn't name one political leader from Belize. Shyne is like the perfect spokesperson for their area. And so thank you, United States, for thinking like you're trying to get over on this man. And people were saying like, wow, he's an inspiration because he rehabbed, he got rehabbed and he became this guy. It's like, yeah, but he did that himself. He educated himself in prison. He became this, he did this. Prisons in this country are not made to rehab people. It should be. I don't know why you want people to get worse in prison so they can come out and hurt more people. It's idiotic. The one good thing about this thing about Diddy is it brings attention back into how horrible our prison systems are. I guess, leading into being in this detention center, they were saying how horrible the conditions are. Now, I've seen people say, well, good, he deserves it. And it's like, yeah, but it's not just him being locked up. Yeah, there's people who do belong in that detention center, but there's probably also people who don't belong in that detention center. And they got to live in those conditions as well. I'll go back to Kalief Browder. It's been a few years, but Kalief Browder was the young man in New York who allegedly stole a backpack, and he had to sit in Rikers Island for 3 years over a backpack. At the most, he should have been in and out of jail, in and out of Rikers, if found innocent in a week or two. It shouldn't have taken that long. But he was in Rikers for 3.5 years over a backpack. He was finally let out, but the pressures of what happened to him was so much to him, he took his life. Prisons are horrific. Even Shyne said that Shyne said, I find no joy in Combs' recent arrest. There's people, I know celebrating all that stuff, but here's a man actually wronged by Combs, and he's like, I find no joy in this. I think how most dudes are. Most dudes do not find joy when people get locked up or when people die unexpectedly. Other people do. But most dudes don't celebrate like that because they know the horrors of prison. We have a horrific prison system in our country. And not just in New York, we have it in down south, Louisiana, Texas. I think it was someplace down south. I can't remember, Georgia, I think, where inmates were just dying for no reason. They were just dying. Every few days, somebody was dying. And they didn't know why or how. And then you hear about the assaults that happen in prison, the sexual assaults that happens in prison, the corrections officers, how they're having sex with the inmates. It's bad. Yes, if you do bad things, of course you belong in prison. But at the same time, these conditions are just inhumane. Because these people have to come back. Everybody's not going to be locked up for life. Some of these people will come back out into society. And why would you want someone to get even worse in prison and come back out? And I always think about like people who have mental health issues, right? You have people with mental health issues. There should be well conditioned facilities for people with mental health conditions if they do horrible things, right? But they send them into prisons, and if they're mentally incapable of knowing right from wrong, they can be taken advantage of in prisons. They can be sexually abused in prisons. Same thing when you try kids as an adult. Yes, it's horrific that we have young people killing people at a young age, and you have to do something to them, right? You can't have them out in the street. They're dangerous. But at the same time, when you put a 14-year-old or 15-year-old in an adult prison, only horrible things can happen to them. Yes, you have to pay for your crimes, but at the same time, those conditions are horrible, man. That's why I never understood why prison culture became a whole thing. Like back in the day, you could have like NWA talking about, Straight Outta Compton and all that stuff, but then you also you balanced that with Judge Jeff and the Fresh Prince. You always had a balance. Even later on when you talk about Compton and Red and Blue and all that stuff, you always had that balanced out with Young MC or Tone Loc, or you had it balanced out with, I don't know, who else was around back then? Warren G. Like there's always some type of balance. Like today is no balance. Like I hate the fact that prison culture is promoted like it's a great thing to do. I hate the fact that stripping, even though I understand why women strip to make money, but stripper culture and prison culture is the thing that's hoisted upon our youth. We get it. These things exist, but there's also black doctors and black pilots and black engineers. Like we don't get that balance. Like back in the day, I can see maybe a New Jack City, but then I could kind of balance that with School Days, right? That was how it was back in the day. You could do these things. I remember like back in the 90s when black college sweatshirts was in, people went Howard or Jackson State, and I would be at Akron U just sitting around, and I was like, you don't go here. Just some dudes I know just out on the block, just hanging out. It's like, you just got out of high school. You just barely got out of high school. What are you doing here? Because even back then, even dudes who were thuggish at that point, we saw so much stuff about college and education and black college and black thought and all this stuff and teaching yourself these things and Public Enemy and Boogie Down Productions, all this stuff that even dudes who were thuggish and did like horrible things at times, even they were on a college campus just chilling because because the atmosphere of college was just inspiring. We don't have that inspiration anymore. There's far more effort to promote prisons. There's far more effort to lock people up than there is to really help our kids become educated and smart. But I guess they don't really want that. It kind of reminds me of the whole ban the box thing. Like back in the day, men who looked like me and Shyne, when they went to jail, they had a felony, they came back out, but then you had to check on the job application if you were a felon or not. And people were fighting to help black men try to get that box off the job application because black men were getting passed over. But what happened was, there's that pesky thing like opioids and meth, and people in rural areas and suburban areas was getting caught up in this stuff. And now you have people who lived in the rural areas like Jimmy Ray and suburban areas like Chad, they getting locked up over selling that stuff or using that stuff. And then they come out and then they have felonies and they can't get a job. Jimmy Earl can't get a job at the Piggly Wiggly because he got to say he's a felon. That's not fair. Or on the opposite side, you have like that guy, Governor, my son's a good boy. He just got mixed up with a bad crowd and drugs. Is there anything you can do? And then like in Ohio back in 2016, they got rid of, it's no longer legal to check if you're a felon or not, which is great. So now, years later, Jimmy Earl is now the manager of the Piggly Wiggly. And Chad, he got a job and now he's a VP of a software company. See how that works? One guy gets become manager for Piggly Wiggly, and another guy who has a felony is a software VP. That's how society works for some people. So shout out to Shyne, man. Shout out for Shyne for turning his life around. Shout out to him, man, for not reveling in the rest of Diddy, but forgiving but not forgetting. And I hope one day we do something in our prison systems. But as long as men look like, and women too, look like me and Shyne, nothing will probably be ever done.